Welcome back, everybody. Now we are
It's
playing
the
as
car
the
that I
Irish
came in.
cop. Oh, this car was Sean's car. I'm assuming that we're not going to need to do much in the way of puzzling in this bit.
Is this where you're bored?
Son, didn't anyone ever tell you to say hello before you start asking questions?
I'm in a hurry.
Yeah, you're always running around and only doing things halfway.
I'll keep that in mind, but I need to get on board urgently.
Son, I don't know what brought you and that little girl here, but this isn't a tourist port. And you don't. If you really need a ship, you can go to Riverside. We'll be more than happy to ferry you around the East River.
I'm not a tourist and I need to leave from here. Now.
The only way for you to leave from here is as a sailor.
I have to board. It's a matter of life and death.
I'm sorry, but like I already said,
Forget about it.
whatever.
Whatever.
First I have to go. I don't know the time or the pier where the ship I have to board. These wooden crates seem to pretty po- No. The part is full of... I can do without it. The part... I can... Apart from the rock... Count me out. No, I can't use the car. Based on... It's a darn, it's... It's closed.
There's a boat. Can take it.
It doesn't look like the right... It's a pub... It's sad. John Ford, born in Portland, 1898. Saint Marie. That's the only thing I... Dry whiskey. 50... A gun with a silencer. No. No, I don't need to bribe him. I have No. No, it... Here are my paper.
So your name is John Ford.
Right, a case of homonymy.
What ship do you need?
The Saint Marie something.
The Saint? I know that you aren't a sailor or a fisherman, but at least try to study your part better for the next time, son.
There won't be a next time.
One last... The girl's boarding documents are in order. Is she your...
Yes, she...
What's her...
Emily Ford.
Okay, the Saint Marie.
Thanks.
Good luck, son.
Right.
And back we go. Well, he obviously didn't board. That did not happen.
Oof.
It seems like my bar is making you sleepy lately.
It was just a few seconds of fatigue.
You were saying a name during...
What name?
You were talking about an Emily.
No, it's no one. I just had a bad dream.
Wait, what?
Speaking of which, did you take care of the girl?
Yes. She's sleeping peacefully in my... Maybe you better go to bed too.
I can't leave the girl here.
Calm down. Oh, you should also tell me what do I have to do with your new friend.
Who?
The Chinese cat.
Sean, I'm not crazy about the idea that he might be going around telling half the world that he found a girl at the port. It's not like you...
Keep him here?
I know I'm asking.
Don't worry. I'll keep him here until he wakes up.
As soon as this thing's over, I'll buy you dinner at one of those clubs on the Upper East Side.
Sure. Anyway, get out of here before...
Alright, so I guess he's gonna go home.
He looks like... Better not wake him up.
We may run into the landlord, though. There he is.
Good evening, De Niro.
Hi, Slavonsky.
I guess you got...
Yes.
Okay, so... And I heard about your mishaps.
Where'd you get...
I always know everything about my rent.
Right.
Exactly, De Niro. I wouldn't want anyone...
Are you
Absolutely not.
I already told...
Heard that old story too many times, De Niro.
Damn right.
Here's
your
some
money.
dead guy's money.
Okay, De Niro. This way we can get back to our pleasant...
Keep the money.
Anyway, I want to show you my loyalty. I find out about your misadventures from police detective.
A police detective?
Da, one Ballard. He woke me up in middle of night to ask about you. And when he found you weren't here, he asked to...
Did you let him in?
And of course, I don't have any intention of upsetting police to...
Tell me about this police detective.
What do you want?
What kind of guy was he?
He introduced himself as Detective Ballard of State Police. He was pretty tall, had dark skin, was well dressed. He spoke kind of funny, seemed like a foreigner.
What did he do when he went into my apartment?
And I don't know, he wanted to go in alone, but he was quick. He seemed unhappy when he left.
Dannazione. Malone is trying to frame me. Who knows what that guy was hoping to find in my apartment? I'm not in...
Good.
Why isn't the heat working?
Problems with boiler.
Did you call a technician?
Nah, technicians are good for nothing. Boiler is solid.
Until it Goodbye, Slavonsky.
Goodbye.
Alright. Will it be ransacked? Nope. Not ransacked.
I don't have the time.
Yeah, well, what's the point of having it?
Justice. My favorite armchair. Even though I'm Greta's handkerchief. I'd better wash it before I return it. I don't see how... My 20 square... No. No. Order.
Maybe he can go to sleep.
A few hours of...
That's what I thought. Oh, we're flashing back. So is he having some sort of, like, mind
While Emily is
astral
asleep in
plane
the cabin,
experience?
I sneak for a smoke on the deck of the boat. We'll be off to Canada soon, leaving New York, Professor Zindler, and this whole mess behind us. We made it. We're safe, I think. But the barrel of a gun between me shoulder blades makes me think otherwise. It's the Turk. He found us. With a sleight of hand worthy of a surgeon, he slides his hand over me holster, puts on the safety, and takes me gun. He pushes the gun into me back and starts talking with that horrible accent of his. He's talking about something, but I'm not listening. I'm too focused on finding a way to get out of this situation. But I can't think of anything. If I make one false move, the Turk will pump my gut full of lead. All of a sudden, fortune smiles on me. A big wave hits the boat, sending it rocking. The Turk loses his balance. A fraction of a second, and I'm on him. His gun lets off a shot. I ignore it. I don't have time to figure out what it hit. I gather all my strength and head for the hold. The Turk falls like a sack of bricks. That should keep him in line for a little while. Grabbing Emily, I get off the boat. They know where I am, and I have to hurry up and run away. I don't have much time. I have to find a place to hide Emily. If the Turk got to me, it won't take the others long to get here too. The door is locked with a padlock, but it's been partly corroded by salt. If I could find something to use as a lever... I was able to get a... By using that piece of metal... One good hit and the lock breaks without any problems. I try to get Emily to enter the shipyard, but she's afraid. I put one of my darts around her neck and I tell her we're playing a game. I'll count to 30, she has to hide, and I'll come looking for her. I'll whistle every now and then with my horn, and she has to do the same when she hears it. I tell her to never come out of her hiding spot because I have to find her. If she hides well, I'll give her a toy all for herself. Emily heads for the shipyard. From her eyes, I can see she didn't buy the story about the game, but she knows she needs to do it. The kid's on the ball. The hole in my lungs was getting worse and worse. It's starting to get hard to even breathe. With my last bit of energy, I head towards the entrance. I get to the outside telephone near the harbor master's office and I call the police. Their intervention won't help much, but at least it will put a lot of people on guard, and that will put the brakes on the Turk's friends. Then I call the last person I ever thought could help me, Jack.
You did it in the wrong
I cover the telephone
order.
with a handkerchief so he doesn't recognize my voice. If he knew it was me, he'd never come. The telephone starts ringing and someone picks up on the other end. It's Jack answering. I make up the first lie that comes into my head to get him here. Halfway through the telephone call, the lines dropped. They cut the electricity in the telephone lines. They're here. I did everything I could, but now all that's left is to wait for the end. And I certainly don't want to do it here. If I have to die, I want to do so somewhere decent with the sound of the waves in my ears and the sight of the moon slashing through the rainy sky. Yes, it's a good place for a goodbye.
So is he experiencing someone else's memories, essentially? I wasn't expecting this place to go somewhere supernatural.
Dannazione! I keep having these dreams, if you can call them dreams. They're so real. The port, the girl, Sean, and then that hitman, that Turk. It all seems to match. How is that possible? How can a dream be so real? How can a dream explain things I don't know? Maybe I better knock it off with the questions and get up. I must have slept a couple of hours. That's more than enough for a hardened insomniac like me. Come on, Jack. The night's still young, and there are people out there who would love to see you dead. And maybe one of them is the guy who last night was pretending to be Inspector Ballard. I'd better ask Slavansky a few more questions.
Up. He ain't here.
Slavansky's... There's a note. I'm on the 6th floor fixing... No thank... Slavansky sucks. It was definitely the kids from the 3rd floor. 6th, this sign is the only thing left of the elevator. Slavansky.
I working on...
I have to find a way to keep Slavansky away from that wreck of a so-called... No, it doesn't make... Slavansky has covered every inch by now. I know them by heart. It's off. Given how often these radiators... Apartment. I have...
I'm not sure of that.
It's off. These pipes. Extreme time?
Damn boiler. How come there's no...
Slavansky.
What can I do for you?
Tell me more.
What do you...
I have a question.
What is it now?
Did this Detective Ballard have a scar on his face?
How do you know?
It doesn't matter how I know.
Yes, he had a long scar on his left cheek. What does it mean?
That the man that you let into my apartment wasn't a police detective.
He had New York State Police badge.
I can get a badge like that for a quarter.
Fake badge?
It doesn't matter. It looks like his visit to my apartment wasn't very helpful to him. I have to talk with Victoria, and I should also check the Melville docks. Goodbye, Slavansky.
Goodbye.
Alright, we got some headway. Head on over to the Tulip.
Hey, that was Chan's cab.
Uh-oh.
Hi, Greta.
Jack,
I slept enough.
it hasn't even been 2 hours.
Right. I think that my insomnia is getting worse. Where did Chan go?
I don't know. I stepped out for a second, and he wasn't in the joint anymore.
Nut.
Are you afraid he might go?
It would be a dumb idea, but dumb enough for him to actually go and do it. How's the girl?
She's sleeping upstairs in my bed. Did you find out who she is?
Nothing yet. About...
I hate...
Do you know anything about his new job?
Well, he talked to me about it, but he was vague with me as well.
Whatever he's mixed up in, I'm sure that there is something fishy going on.
You know him. He's never had a job in his life that could be considered legal.
He is often at the joint.
Tell me about it. He always gets here at 9 p.m., sits down, orders his stupid blueberry cocktail, and plants himself there. I hate him.
Do you have any idea why he always comes to your joint?
Unfortunately, yes. The slimeball decided he wants to marry me.
That's so like Smiley.
I'd rather not know it either.
I don't... Okay.
Bye, Jack.
Okay. We did get some information. We may have to call a cab, though. I thought he had a car. Yeah. Well, now there's a car here. Is it his?
A cab.
Oh, it's just a regular cab. Oh, no, it's him again.
I slept enough. And what about you?
Me?
You weren't here earlier on.
Well, I had to move cab from front of pub.
I didn't think you cared. Anyway, we have to go.
Where?
The police department.
Whatever you want.
I'm not sure it's a good idea to have him in proximity of the police, but whatever. I should probably take a look at this now and see if Ballard's on there.
All the office...
Nope.
Name of the officers and their... It looks like Victoria isn't there. Maybe the officer on... Hi, officer.
How can I help?
Do you know where I can find Sergeant Diaz?
Sergeant Diaz is out of town, but don't ask me where she is.
I guess you don't even know.
That's right. If you really want to know where Sergeant Diaz is, ask Malone.
Oh boy.
I'll bet Malone sent Victoria away on purpose. I'd like to...
Listen, I'm fed up with you. If you want...
Oh, good. That's handy.
Del Nero.
I've received a visit tonight. A guy who claimed to be a police officer searched my apartment.
Don't make up stuff.
I never said he was a police officer. I just said that he claimed to be one. The owner of my apartment believed him, and the guy had a nice private viewing of my personal things.
I don't understand why you're telling me this, Del Nero. You aren't dumb enough to think that a story like this would turn my suspicions elsewhere, are you?
I gave up a long time ago on trying to convince pigs to fly.
Careful with what you say and tell me what you want.
I have reason to believe that the person who paid me this visit is part of a criminal organization.
Yeah, it looks like you have a lot of enemies, Del Nero. I suggest you take it easy with your nighttime visitors. Your ex-partner hung with a rough crowd in Los Angeles.
What crowd?
It looks like Black Lily was on him.
Black Lily? The mob in Los Angeles?
Exactly, Del Nero. It looks like your time in the slammer might not be the worst thing that could happen to you.
Yeah, the typical choices that life always presents me with.
If you want protection, I can offer you a stay in one of our cells.
I'd rather be shot than eat that swill that you call a meal.
Now the choice is yours.
I was looking for Sergeant Diaz.
Sergeant Diaz isn't here. I thought it'd be better to assign her to a case outside the city.
Afraid that she could help me, Malone?
In the situation you're in, Del Nero, not even the President of the United States could help you. She paid your bail, but that only gave you a few more hours of freedom, nothing else.
I have to...
Why should I? We aren't in a...
If I do nothing, your threats... Goodbye.
See you.
Alright, well, I got a couple answers, I guess.
Black Lily was after Sean. It's not as bad as you might think. At least I have a lead to follow now. I need to find some information on this organization. A while ago, I got a journalist, a certain Moore, out of trouble. He was investigating the Mafia in New York. Maybe he'll be able to give me some more information about Black Lily's activities.
Alright. I know where the phone book is.
Where you want? We.
Maybe another.
What?
Maybe another. A series of. As
Oh,
if,
whoops.
A series. As if the only you.
There it is.
I should be able to.
Wrong shelf.
I don't see anything.
How do I turn the page and wash your hands?
I don't see anything. I don't see anything.
Let's see.
Let's see if I can. Moore. I just remembered the last name, but he had a pretty unusual first name. I'll remember it if I see it. Violetta Moore. That's the name. What kind of name is Violetta for a guy? I hope he's still alive. This guy...
New York.
Can you...
What's the...
Violetta Moore, 555-4897.
Coming up.
Hello?
Am I speaking with Violetta Moore?
You're talking with his ghost. It's the middle of the night.
I'm Del Nero.
Del Nero, old son of a gun.
I see you still remember me.
Hell, you saved my skin in that story with the syndicates a few years ago. How you doing?
Same old.
Bottle in the hand and bills to pay, huh?
More or less.
You must have a good reason to call in the middle of the night.
I need some information.
Well, you called the right number. You give me a name and I'll tell you all about the skeletons in its closet.
Do you know an organization called Black Lily?
Damn, you don't mess around. It's better not to step on those guys' toes if you don't want to find yourself neck-high in shit.
What do you know about them?
Black Lily is one of the strongest mafia families in Los Angeles. In the mid-1920s, they started to grab power when the other families were busy fighting amongst themselves. They figured out that the time of gangsters armed with Thompsons was winding down, and they started to make headway corrupting and forming alliances with politicians. No contrabands or killings. They got what they wanted with cold, hard cash. In Los Angeles, they say that Black Lily doesn't kill you. It just steals your soul.
Do you have any names for me?
How many do you want? The head of the organization is a certain Tommaso Venanzi, one of your compatriots. But don't think of him as a classic Italian-American gangster. Venanzi is an attorney and he comes from a good family. He's smart enough to know that greasing the right hand is worth more than 1,000 armed men.
And who greases those palms in New York for him?
A half-Canadian called Samuel Cutter. He's an attorney too, if I remember correctly.
Samuel Cutter. I think I've already heard that name before.
You definitely read about him in the papers. He was tried for the murder of 4 policemen a while ago. Came out of it as clean as a baby's ass when it gets off the changing table. But he made a mistake. He underestimated the value of the public opinion.
What do you mean?
Cutter bought off everyone at that trial, even the court usher. But the press figured it out and started to ask questions. Nowadays, the right headline in the papers sends more heads rolling than the guillotine during the French Revolution. The palms Cutter greased pulled away because they were afraid of a scandal and left him all alone. Greasing palms is a good strategy, Jack, but you always need to remember that you're dealing with people who hide behind their business cards.
What happened to Cutter?
That's the best part. Cutter was found innocent at the first trial, but there was another one a few months later, and it didn't turn out as well for him.
Did he go to jail?
Yeah, he was locked up, and then he was shut up. They found him in his cell with a knife in his back.
Ooh.
This sent the entire organization here in New York crumbling down. And with it, all the speculations about the involvement of politicians in white-collar crime came to an end.
So they all saved their faces.
That's right, Jack. Cutter's death was as fortunate as it was suspicious.
Well, at least I have a name now. And if he has ever been arrested before, I'm sure that the police archives will have a nice file about him. Do you know anything about a guy called the Turk?
No, pal. This name doesn't tell me anything.
Definitely. Did you ever hear the name Sean McClane?
Sean McClane? No, pal, nothing.
Thanks for the information.
No problem, pal.
Excellent. Making plenty of headway now. I like it when a game does not hit me with a roadblock. Like, I feel like I'm making progress constantly. We still have to go to the port. And I assume that's where we're gonna find something we can use with the archive scanner.
The Melville Port.
We see.
Oh, this car's not there anymore. Oh, the harbor master's there now.
Hi.
Police again? What do you...
I'm not a police officer.
No. Then who are... You're not one of those dumb journalists who are always looking for conspiracies and scandals everywhere.
I'm a private detective.
Hell, I don't care who you are. You'll find a way to bug me anyway, right?
I guess so. Anyway, What do you know about what happened here tonight?
I know that one guy bumped off another guy, and he picked this port to do it. That's what I know, as I told the police over and over again.
You don't seem too surprised by what went on.
It's not the first time, and it won't be the last that someone gets bumped off around here.
Has it happened before?
You could set your watch by it, just like my rheumatism. This port has its share of some of the worst scumbags in New York, and sometimes we even manage to get a few troublemakers from out of town. Once they even found a Chicago police lieutenant drowned under one of the piers.
A well-attended place, I'd say.
It wasn't always in the good times. The port was the apple of the eye of Brooklyn's commercial activity.
Tell me about the...
It was the beginning of the century. New York felt like it was the capital of the whole world. I was just a young sailor with a few dollars in my pocket. The port owner was old Svensson, a Swede who seemed anything but a sailor. In fact, he couldn't have told you the difference between a swordfish and a canister of gasoline. But he knew business. Oh yes, that guy transformed this place into one of the most important hubs on the East River in just 3 years.
This port doesn't seem like a place where a lot of ships could dock.
You shouldn't look at it now. Half of the port is now demolished and sold. Old Svensson had them build huge ones, so that even the biggest fishing ships could dock.
Why was part of the port sold?
It's a long story. During the port's most active years, I worked at the harbor master's office. An accident involving my right leg stopped me from sailing for a few months. Since I was one of the few who could read or write, I was put in charge of handling port procedures. Everything seemed to go fine, business was good, but Svensson started to change over time. I'm not saying that he looked like one of us, but he started to lose that look of a king that he had when he got here. And he started getting strange visits. Then one day in April 1926, John Grenz, known as the Ace of Spades, found his body floating near the mooring. The police said that it was a suicide, but none of us believed it. The funeral had barely happened when a certain Pruney, some fat, half-Italian, half-Turkish guy, took over for old Svensson. Within a year, he sold part of the port and fired half of us.
Fascinating story. The recession has shut down businesses that were a lot stronger than this little port. How have you managed to survive this long?
You're quick on your feet, son. The answer is simple. Cruises to freedom.
Cruises to freedom?
Right. If someone wants a change of scene without anyone knowing, this is his ticket to freedom.
You mean that criminals can illegally escape from this port?
You can do the math.
What are you doing?
It's the same question that I'm asking myself. I was woken up in the middle of the night by a call from the police.
So you were the...
Actually, I'm the only one here.
Why did they make you close the port?
The police decided to close the entire port until they complete their investigation. So I have to call the captain of every ship headed here and tell him that he has to unload at Kips Bay instead of here.
If the port is closed, like you say, I doubt you'll have a lot of work to do.
I don't care. But tomorrow, the good Lewis was supposed to disembark with my good Chilean friend that brings me some of the best grog I've ever had. Now I'll have to wait more than a month to see him.
If I want some information... Did you see a man with a girl tonight?
It looks like you know more than you pretend to, son.
So have you seen a little girl?
Sorry, but I can't give you any...
Did you let a man named...
No way, son.
I don't need...
Good luck.
We're gonna have to get him some hooch.
The police. I could ignore the seals, and forensics must have...
Alright. We're gonna have to go back to the bar and get some alcohol. The way he spins.
Hi, Jack.
Do you have a bottle of grog?
Grog? Did you decide to drive the last nail in your liver's coffin?
It's not for me.
As usual. Anyway, I don't think I have any grog, but if you feel like, you can check. There might be a few old bottles.
I'll take a look. Okay.
Bye.
She sounds perpetually pissed.
Let's
which
see
makes
if Greta
sense.
has a bottle of grog on the...
Because she's in a bad situation right now, financially. And now she's been put in this impossible situation by
I don't
Jack.
see any... Sean's rye. The strongest whiskey money can buy. And the cheapest, too. Let's see if... I don't... Let's see if... I don't see any...
Darn it.
I don't think that it...
What can I do?
Goodbye.
Good.
This is the fire escape. I don't see...
Okay. Well, I'll just have to figure out how to get that bottle of grog on the next episode of Face Noir, so grab a snack and we'll be right back.